We finally have a Wind DPS that is not a limited unit, that is good and going to age well, and on top of it, it's going to make our dailies a bit more easier. Hey all, Mukro here. Today I'm going to explain what Mana is capable of and why she's an important unit. Let's start with her kit. Mana is one of the strongest assault rifle units in the game, with a 15% attack multiplier, 2% higher than the average assault rifle multiplier. This makes her stronger than Summer Sakura in terms of raw stats, with an average ammo capacity of 60. Only Asuka and Scarlet surpass her in multipliers, at 18.75% and 27% respectively. However, as we know from experience, a high multiplier alone doesn't define a great DPS unit. Mana's skill 1 is quite unique and incredibly potent. It provides her with a permanent 58% attack buff, which is bonkers good. Additionally, she has passive heal that triggers every 10 shots, roughly every 1.5 to 2 seconds. This is quite similar to Noise's healing, but Mana's is passive rather than tied to an active burst, which is amazing. This healing works exceptionally well with Crown, as it quickly maintains her Royal Attire buff. For those unaware, Royal Attire grants 21% damage boost, making passive healers essential when paired with Crown, but that's not all. Her skill 1 also has built-in revive mechanic. She can revive a dead unit by sacrificing her self-attack buff, targeting a dead unit that has the highest attack. While this revive isn't particularly useful in PvE, it could be game-changing in PvP. I'm not a PvP expert, but those invested in that side of Nikke should explore this potential further. Mana's skill 2 uses a unique blend of abilities borrowed from several other units. This skill is called Metal Sigma, as in the Greek alphabet, not the meme or the math term. And yes, I'm going to say its name while explaining it. Metal Sigma provides 70% gauge fill rate. If Mana has Metal Sigma while entering full burst, note she doesn't have to be the one that is bursting. She gains a 21% attack damage bonus and a 63% attack buff. She also loses Metal Sigma in the process. And it's still not done. When entering full burst, she reduces the longest basic charge time in the team by 0.18 seconds. This effect only applies to one ally, so keep in mind that you cannot use her to buff a rocket launcher if there is a sniper on the team. This effect is exact same with Highly Investment Alice, so you cannot use her and Alice in the same team while buffing SPS. Finally, Mana regains her Metal Sigma if she activates her burst. Mana's burst is pretty straightforward, but it serves its purpose effectively. She deals 400% of her final attack as sustained damage every second for 10 seconds. Additionally, her burst increases sustained damage. This isn't a damage taken increase debuff, instead it is specifically boost damage over time effects, which Nikke refers to as sustained damage. While there aren't many units that focus on damage over time effects, there is a Wind unit that does. This aspect of Mana's burst designed to synergize with Summer Sakura, who doesn't rely on bursting herself. I will cover more on this in the unit combos section. Her skill prioritization is skill 2, then skill 1, then burst. On a budget, get 474. For recommended, get 710-7, but feel free to max her when solo raid comes. For Kraken, she's mainly a SPS buffer than a DPS, but if you build her, she's also going to deal DPS to finish that 3 billion. For gear and overload, level up helmet, gauntlets, then chest piece. You can actually skip boots, but you want to upgrade it for CP in campaign. Since she's a DPS, you want 4 elemental and 4 attack, 1 to 2 ammo since she's a assault rifle. Elemental is a bigger buff to unit's damage, so feel free to sacrifice attack. While building, try to reach these, but don't be sad if you are missing some, since you are going to mainly use her in Kraken and she's going to buff her own attack. We want ammo and elemental first, more than anything. You have 3 options for cubes. Bastion, a solid choice as always, offering 42% ammo buff. This is generally your best option. Resilience, if you are using her with Crown, Resilience might be worth considering. Mana already has an above average reload speed of 1.6 seconds, and with Crown's buff, she can reload incredibly fast, even close to an insta reload. Third option is Healing Cube. Use this if heals aren't sufficient and your team struggles with survival. This time around, the doll isn't as important. While it's decent, I wouldn't really rank it as SPS levels of effectiveness. Assault rifle dolls in general are not exceptional. They only provide 17% core damage bonus, which is a decent but not that groundbreaking compared to other options. That said, Mana is a competitive unit for solo raid, and considering the current lack of strong Wind DPS units, she's the second best option available. Maxing her out seems like a smart idea given the shortage of viable Wind DPS characters, but I would wait for solo raid before maxing it. Mana serves as a replacement for Alice in Kraken runs and performs exceptionally well in solo raid scenarios. Specifically, she's designed to deal decent damage while synergizing with and buffing other wind units. Also, she can be used in hard campaign as well. She's a key unit for unlocking auto Kraken, allowing for more efficient and hands-free approach. It is worth noting that you don't need to kill Kraken, simply dealing 3 billion damage is sufficient to earn all the rewards. Mana's abilities allow her to buff every unit on the Kraken team, while activating Crown's Royal Attire damage buff, making her equally viable in solo raid with Crown. Previously, we relied on Naga for core damage buffs in this setup, however, with Mana there is no longer a need for that. Additionally, you no longer need to focus on hitting Kraken's core or destroying the tentacles. With Mana in the team, you can survive and out-heal the damage while maintaining high performance. Let me explain Mana's auto version of handling Kraken. The ideal team composition for autoing Kraken is RRH or Litter, Crown, SPS, Mana, and potentially Summer Sakura. However, Mana and SPS alone are capable of dealing the required 3 billion damage to claim all rewards. This means you can replace Summer Sakura with almost anyone. That said, if you want more consistent and reliable auto setup, sticking with the full team is the safest option. Alternative replacements are Winter Ludmilla, a solid choice for debuffing and dealing more damage. We'll be covering the newly added treasures as well, so if you don't want to miss it, make sure to sub to my channel. If you don't want to pull for mana, that is completely understandable. Here's how I handle the Kraken fight manually. This method works for me, but feel free to suggest any improvements in the comments if you have a better approach. My team comp is Litter or RRH, Crown, SPS, Alice with a high skill 1 investment and ideally 7% plus charge speed. While not bursting, we want to quick charge as much as possible. Use Alice to spam shots at the Kraken's part or core to charge up burst gauge. When bursting, if we are bursting with SPS, avoid shooting with Alice, focus on aiming for the Kraken's cores. This ensures the core stays alive longer, allowing SPS to deal more damage. Breaking the cores too early significantly lowers your DPS, so this is a crucial step. While bursting with Alice, feel free to shoot, you are going to gain more DPS. Also, when Kraken is about to perform its charge attack, make sure you have a shield up for Naga or she's going to die. I don't do this, but for the QTEs, after you shoot one of the circles, then when the new one reappears, you can pause the game, move your cursor, unpause it, shoot, and repeat until the QTE ends. It is a trick some players use to gain more time. When we go to phase 2, you can do whatever at this point. You don't have to aim with Alice anymore. You can just blast the Kraken and you are going to deal the damage. Don't forget the shield on Naga though, or she's going to die pretty easily in this state. Personally, I'm not planning to pull for Mana, and wouldn't necessarily recommend pulling for her either. Also, this year's Valentine's characters look cuter than ever, so I'm probably going to pull them instead, as she's an unlimited unit, so we can wishlist her. However, if you are looking to compete in the Wind solo raid, she's going to be crucial for your success. Her damage output and buffs can significantly help with the current meta, especially for Wind-based teams. But if you're not aiming for those high-end clears, she might not be a must-have for everyone. If you want to auto-clear, she's a must though. If you are looking for an updated cube guide for 2025, here is my cube guide, and if you are not sure how to build your RP, here is my guide for that on the screen. Thanks for watching and thanks for all the support. See you in the next guide.